All right, so I've got iron filings here, and we're just going to sprinkle them into the bottom of this container. It looks just like black pepper. They're just randomly falling onto the container, and there's no pattern, right? But if we take a magnet and place it very carefully underneath like that, and put this back, watch carefully as the bits of iron filings start to move. You watch very carefully, they start to move, and they seem to congregate around the poles. Notice that there are a lot of them around the North Pole and the South Pole. And if I slide this around, they also move. If I tap the table, you can see some lines developing. So you can see that there's these lines, these are the field lines, the magnetic field lines that are forming here. And they show you that even though you don't normally see that there's magnetic forces around a magnet, this helps to show you that the forces are holding the iron filings in their place. We don't see that normally, but it's there, and we use the iron filings to help show it. The other thing to notice is that the iron filings do not just go in a two-dimensional direction, meaning that they're not just flat against the bottom of the container. And I don't think you can see this very well, but they do actually stand up from the container. I don't know if I can do you see that they're standing upright? They are standing upright because the magnetic field does not just go two-dimensional. It actually goes in 3 dimensions all the way around. Okay, that being said, I'm going to switch over to looking at the computer now. So in this area right here on the computer, you will see that the forces, the magnetic forces, actually go in a specific direction. Notice that all of these field lines have a little arrow. They are going out of the North Pole and back in to the South Pole. It's very much like a battery. If you put a battery into something, a flashlight, and you put it in backwards, it won't work because the electrons only flow in one direction. And the same thing with the magnetic energy in a magnet. They only flow in one direction. So my question is, and I'm going to go back to what I've got here in the screen, is I can see the magnetic field lines here, but I cannot see which direction they're going out of and which direction they're going into. So there must be a way to figure out which direction they go. And that's where we start to use the compass. So I'm going to take this and put it aside. Shake off all of the iron filings. They're all over my desk. Okay, now I'm going to put the magnet back here again. And we have a North Pole and a South Pole. Now remember, when I had the iron filings, you couldn't see which direction they went. So scientists had determined that if they put a compass near a magnet, that it actually spins, right? It spins like this, all the way around. Now let's take a closer look. We said that the magnetic energy is going out of the North Pole. So let's go ahead and put this like this. The red pin on the compass represents the North Pole. So since it is pointing this way to north, which in my classroom, north is actually kind of more where this 30 number is. That's where the true north is, but the magnet is adjusting that because its force is stronger than the Earth's magnetic force because of its proximity. It's closer to the compass. So if I do this, it's indicating that the forces are going out of the north. I'm going to move this around. Watch as the compass slowly starts to turn, and comes back in over on the south. So there it went out of the north and into the south. All right, the next thing that we're going to be doing today, Thursday, just before we take the quiz, is go over magnetic potential energy again, just to explain what's happening. I want to talk about gravitational potential energy, just as a reminder. Remember we talked about roller coasters, right? And a roller coaster that's up on the top of the hill has the most, I'm going to put an up arrow, the most gravitational potential energy at the top of the hill, because gravity has all of this distance to pull it down. So the higher up an object is, the more gravitational potential energy it is. Now, let's talk a little bit about magnets, because they work a little bit different. So I'm going to go back to showing you guys what's on my screen. You guys are going to watch a video, which I will put up in the Google Classroom. Okay, it's on the Thursday. So let's talk about what magnets want to do. Okay, if we have a north and a south pole, what do they want to do? They want to attract, right? They want to attract. If we put a north and a north together, what happens then? They want to repel. So north and north want to repel. And south and south, we already know because they are alike, they also want to repel. I'm having trouble writing today. All right, so they want to repel. That's what they want to do. If I put a north and a north together and press them tight together, they are going to want to repel, meaning that they're going to start moving. Remember that kinetic energy is energy in motion. So here we have a lot of potential when they're stuck together, because if I let go, the potential energy is going to change to kinetic energy. Did I say that right? The potential energy is going to change to kinetic energy, causing it to move. Watch. 3, 2, 1, and they move. They want to move as soon as they are released. Okay? So it went from being potential energy when they are close together to kinetic energy. So when they are alike poles or like poles, they want to repel. So potential energy is strongest when they are close together. Let's take a look at north and south. They want to go together, right? But where is potential energy the strongest? When they are further apart. Now, this shows up really good on our Amplify simulation, because it starts when you put them apart. If you watch on the Amplify simulation, they start far apart and slowly, slowly, slowly they go. So we have a small amount of kinetic energy, but as they get closer, they actually start to speed up and go together. Now, the kinetic energy is when they're moving. So in this case, when we have a north and a south, they want to attract with each other. The potential energy is going to be strongest when the magnets are farther apart. So that being said, what things determine how strong a magnet's kinetic and potential energy are? Well, there's 3 things. Well, number 1 is the distance they are away from each other, distance. But that distance will change depending on the poles that are together. Either they're going to be like poles or they're going to be opposite poles, right? And the third thing, distance, the strength of the magnet. You know, we get sometimes fridge magnets. You put something on, like I'll even do it on the board here, And some magnets are so weak they hardly hold a paper to the board. And then you get other ones, like I've got these black magnets here. These ones are super strong. So since they're stronger, they actually, is this going to repel? Since they are stronger, they work at a farther distance. Okay, that's when they start to move. There we go. All right, but if I put these two weaker magnets together, they won't attract each other until they are actually closer. You notice that distance? It's still not attracting. That's because it's a weaker magnet. So the three things that affect potential energy is the distance that the magnets are to one another, which poles are together, whether it's north and south, south and south, and the strength of the magnets. That's all for today, folks.